Alright, here I am on the Vinewood Avenue Railroad crossing in Wyandotte, Michigan. Now, this is once again another one of those iconic crossings that were filmed by Owens 3.2 in the past. And then, yep, filmed by Owens 3.2 in the past when it still had his original equipment. Also, this crossing is owned by the CN Shoreline subdivision, the Conrail Detroit Shoreline subdivision, and the CN Flat Rock subdivision. Now, I got many requests to redo this crossing. I know I already toured this crossing, but a lot of information was incorrect, so I decided to tour it again just to make sure that everything is clear and correct. So, yeah, I decided to come back once more to give her another tour. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get on with it. And worth mentioning, a lot of things have changed on this crossing. Like, a lot of things have changed ever since, Owens 3.2 was last here. But yeah, so yeah, here's the first signal, which has a WRS base. And here's the emergency information, the dot number for the CN Shoreline subdivision, and the dot number is 867-589B. And there would be like an old dot tag right here, but now it's gone. And also worth mentioning, back up until 2008, this crossing had 2 pairs of Griswold Type B 8-inch lights and a Transport Products Corp gate mechanism, which is such an insane combo to me. But sadly, both of those have been long replaced now. Owens 3.2 actually got a hold of the Griswold Type B lights, but the Transport Products gate mech was pretty much scrapped because that thing was in rough condition. But yeah, the Griswold Type B lights were later replaced by incandescent lights, but now this has been completely upgraded. But I'm still surprised that the original mast still remains. But yeah, so yeah, with that said, for the gate mechanism, this has a Safetran gate mechanism, which was here ever since the Transport Products Corp replacement. And for the lights, this has 2 pairs of Safetran 12x24-inch lights with LEDs shoved in them. Now, I can tell by the Hawker and Silly logo that these were older gen, and these have like LEDs shoved in them, so maybe they were like, they put in some Dialight or GE uniform LEDs in there. And these sit on a Safetran junction box, a Transport junction box. Transport Products junction box used to be here. And for the bell, this has a low-pitch Siemens electronic bell. Sorry, but this has a low-pitch Siemens electronic bell. A General Signals Type 2 used to be here, but it sadly died. It died. It sounded staticky. There were some videos of it, but now it's been replaced. Long replaced. Actually, no, that's on the other gated signal. Never mind that. Yes, a General Signals Type 2 used to be here, but now it's been long replaced by that bell. It's been there for a while, too, but I'm talking about the other gated signal, which I'll just explain in a minute. But yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and go on to the next mast signal on the CN Shoreline sub, which has a Safetran base. And here's the emergency information, the dot number once again. And then for the lights, this has 2 more pairs of Safetran 12x24-inch LEDs. Once again, these are like the older gen, where, you can tell by the logos are at the bottom, which is pretty neat. Once again, another Safetran light bracket that they sit on. And then for a bell, this has a General Signals Type 2 electronic bell that pretty much still remains ever since. Maybe this had another bell at one point, but from what I remember, one of the CN mast signals used to have a Safetran Hybrid Mechanical bell, like around 2018, and I think it got replaced by the electronic bells sometime in 2019, 2020, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that right there were the CN Shoreline subdivision signals. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Conrail Detroit Shoreline signals. But yeah, so for the first signal on this line, this has a Siemens base. Here's the emergency information and the dot number for the Conrail Detroit line, and the dot number is 511822X, and underneath it you could see Conrail dot tag. And also worth mentioning, back up until 2018, what this crossing had character, well, I would say when this crossing still had its character, all of these signals used to be GRS mast signals with them GRS Lexi plastic 8-inch lights with them Safetran mechanical bells, and one of them had a Western Colton Hayes mechanical bell too, but all of those have been replaced by these brand new signals in 2018. So yeah, and for the lights, this has 2 more pairs of Safetran 12x24-inch LEDs, like GE uniform, not GE uniform, I think these are Dialights. And once again, these sit on a Safetran junction box. And for the bell, this has a General Signals Type 3 electronic bell. Since it was a post-2016 install, since Conrail and Norfolk Southern like using them ever since they came out, this is what they had to put on there. So yeah, that's the first signal on the Conrail line. Let's go ahead and move on to the next. And once again, sorry about the fog. It's just, it's now starting to clear up, but hell, it's been here ever since earlier this morning. But yeah, here's the next signal, which once again has another Siemens base. And once again, this has no blue tag, but it has the Conrail sticker tag slapped on the side of it. But yeah, and for the lights, this has 2 more pairs of Safetran 12 by 24 inch LEDs. Again, the dialight ones. And then this once again sits on a Safetran junction box. And for the bell, this has another General Signals Type 3 electronic bell. But yeah, that's that. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next Conrail Detroit line signals, which are once again no different from the other 2 that I just toured. So I guess in this case, let's go ahead and move on to the last Conrail trek. So for the next signal, once again has another Siemens base. And once again, no blue tag, but it has the sticker slapped on the side of it. And for the lights, this has 2 more pairs of Safetran 12 by 24 inch LEDs, dialights, and once again sit on a Safetran junction box. And I think one of these signals used to have like different 8-inch lights and not just the Lexi plastic ones. Yeah, and Owens 32 actually filmed this crossing one time malfunctioning, and one of the Safetran mechanical bells died, so we shake the pole and it started ringing again for like a few seconds. It's kind of cool. Sadly, that character is gone now, which is heavily a shame. But then again, those lights were pretty dim. But yeah, for the bell, and then last but not least, for the bell on this crossing signal is another General Signals Type 3 electronic bell. I mean, they really like them Type 3s now. Back then, before 2016, they used to Type 2s on their crossing signals. Like hell, Pennsylvania Road recently got one, well not recently, but got one of their Type 2s replaced with a Type 3. And yeah, there's some other crossings, like I think Antwine Street has the Type 3s. No, not Antwine Street. Must be a different street that I'm talking about. But yeah, here's the last signal on the Conrail Detroit Shoreline, which once again has another Siemens base. And here's the emergency information. Once again, here's the blue tag and the sticker. And then for the lights, once again has 2 more pairs of Safetran 12 by 24 inch LEDs with a Safetran junction box. And then for the bell, this has once again another General Signals Type 3 electronic bell. But yeah, so yeah, that was all there was to offer for the Conrail Detroit line subdivision. Now let's go ahead and move on to the CN Flat Rock signals, which are the final 2 signals in the tour. So here's the next. Why is there a stove grate thingy on the ground? I don't know. So here's the mast signal on the CN Flat Rock sub, which has a Safetran base, like an older gen Safetran base. And here's the emergency information and the dot tag for the CN Flat Rock subdivision, and the dot number is 258092F. And if you look over here, there's an old Grand Trunk Western dot tag, which is pretty cool. And there used to be another dot tag right there, but it's been removed. I mean, hell, there's some like cases where some crossings have like multiple dot tags and some of them have different numbers, which is pretty weird, but oh well. And for the lights, once again, has 2 more pairs of Safetran 12 by 24 inch LEDs, and once again, these are the GE uniform LEDs. Pretty sure I can tell by the horizontal bars in the lens. And these sit on a Safetran junction box or light bracket. Yep. And then for the bell, this has a high-pitched Siemens electronic bell. Yeah, a train went by on the CN Shoreline sub a few minutes ago. I sadly missed it, but I did hear this bell in action on my way back here. So yeah, it has a high-pitched Siemens. Now let's go ahead and tour the final signal. Also keep in mind, be careful because this crossing boards are in piss poor shape. But yeah, well, particularly these ones, not the other ones are fine. So yeah, right here is the final signal of the entire crossing, which used to have the GRS Lexi 8-inch lights here and the General Signals Type 2, but the General Signals Type 2 actually died. You can hear it dying in some, modern videos of this crossing. And I think this mast signal over here was the one that had the Safetran Hybrid Mechanical bell at one point, but sadly got replaced by the high-pitched Siemens. Well, it's a decent replacement. I like the high-pitched Siemens E-bells. They sound nice. But yeah, so here's the final signal, which is the Flat Rock gated signal, which has another Siemens base. And here's the emergency information and dot tag once again. And for the lights, this has 2 more pairs of Safetran 12 by 24 inch GE uniform LEDs. And I think this crossing also has Rico LED gate lights. And then, once again, another Safetran junction box, and also another Safetran gate mechanism for the gate mechanism. Most likely different ones to be here. And then for the bell, has a low-pitched Siemens electronic bell. Pretty much has the combo here, low pitch and high pitched. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the track view. I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm gonna make this quick. So since you can't really see much with the fog, but there are some like vintage Y pattern signals on the Conrail line. Down there heads towards Oak Street, Pennsylvania Road, towards the Trenton area, like Harrison Avenue and so on. And down there heads towards Ford Avenue, Antwine Street, Goddard Road, St. John Street, so on and so forth. But yeah, that was the retour of the Vinewood Avenue railroad crossing. Corrected, over and out.